This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Wrestling Network. Welcome to the 8th edition of the Special Relations Podcast. I am the good lady's favourite podcaster, Calum, and joining me tonight are my usual chaps, my colleagues from this side of the pond. Tonight we're going to present to you a slightly different podcast. We're veering slightly away from a regularly scheduled programming. You will still get some of the usual stuff. Definitely the same tangents that you all know and probably don't love. But we did set a wee wager on a privately about previous podcast appearances. All will be revealed, and it'll be a very WCW themed show that you'll come to hear as well. So first off, joining me tonight is a man who coined a very unpopular opinion back when he was choosing his GWWE list. Hopefully he does the same for his GWCW. That remains to be seen. But in the interim, when he's not doing unpopular opinions, he is creating more unpopular opinions on his new podcast, Chicken Salad. Please introduce Ben Locke. Ben, how are you?
Thank you very much, Calum. That was lovely. Well, Flair Steamboat isn't going to be my number one, so is that quite unpopular?
In some circles, it could be.
Okay, so there you go. So I'll kick in with that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some people with all three of the Legendary trilogy all in the top 5 or 10. But I
think they'll at least be. I think 2 of them at least will be top 10. So it's not going to be that unpopular. But
no, I mean it's having seen the wide array of number one picks on the GWWE. Who knows? There is some corkers on the old WCW side.
That is very true. Very true. Lots of research to still be done, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Also joining us tonight, when he's not travelling back to the year 2000 to cover King of the Ring and other Non-Descript events, he's dusting off his VCR and putting in the old VHSs. The host of Place to Be Nation's senior video podcast, Rory McNamara. Rory, good evening.
Well, Non-Descript is my middle name.
Well, you know, you're a podcast legend. I would say that's your middle name.
Okay, Dennis is my middle name. How about that? King of the Ring 2000 was... What's a good word to describe it? How about nondescript?
That's a very good word. You're a wordsmith. You're a resident wordsmith.
It was really rubbish.
So, chaps, we've not got a regularly scheduled programming as we've decided not to go visit the happy place tonight. But we will have some hopefully entertaining content nonetheless.
We just didn't want to do any prep, did we?
Well, when you're going to your happy place, no prep is required. However,
very true. Very true.
However, I didn't want to coin myself. I didn't want to sound too big-headed, but I could have also called myself Britain's smartest wrestling fan on the Place to Be Nation network.
All you just wait a few minutes, okay?
And
don't jump the gun.
And just remember, whatever happens here, it's still 2 versus 1. Even if you're off the right.
You know. We'll see.
But having watched a lot of June 2000 WWF, I can tell you that the one always wins the handicap match anyway, so we've got no chance then.
So we'll muddle through.
Oh, I'm sure we will in our own special way.
It's nearly end of lockdown. We should be having a party.
We could. I mean, you can have a party approximately 2 weeks before I can.
Well, I'm in a social bubble now. I can go.
Too soon. Although when the show goes out, you will be bubble worthy. I feel you might need to explain that reference to me than anybody else.
So basically, our beloved Prime Minister, Mr. Johnson, has decreed.
Oh, sorry, just the throat there. Sorry.
I had to let me in your throat then. He has decreed that all single people or people living on their own can go to one other person's house. So basically, as my mum was trying to explain to me, if it's just you and your husband at home and grandparents, you still can't see your grandkids. But I can go around as a single person to anybody's house if I want to do. I just can't go around to two people's houses.
Oh dear. I don't want to say policy is being written on the back of a cigarette packet, but
Yeah. We're not saying Boris is making things up on the fly, but
No, but when when you've got an advisor who wants to go a drive to make sure he can see properly, who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
that's at least a 30-mile journey to assess that.
Specsavers are raging. They charge people to do that. And Dominic Cummings has let the cat out of the bag. He thinks you can just go and do it for free.
For those who don't know, his name is Dominic Cummings, everybody. Look him up on Google, and after you have laughed at him for looking like a student from 1991, because let's face it, he does, then you can check out the whole, full, grisly, unbelievable, and I do mean unbelievable story. Dominic Cummings is his name. I'll leave you to that one.
It is a bit sort of a WWF plot-esque, isn't it? The authority who have made this decree on everybody. It's one of the top brass who's the one who's flouted the rules most greatly.
Do as I say, not as I do, pal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It was almost like 2014 WWE. You have Dominic Cummings get out and doing something like that. And then all that was missing from Boris Johnson's announcement at the end of the day was the King of Kings playing in the background as he walked through the double doors.
So, as well as this, I mean, I'm in this very weird position now where I have basically got 2 more days of work to do, and then I have got 2 weeks off. I don't think I've looked forward to 2 weeks off work more, which is very weird.
I don't blame you. The stuff you've had to put up with since lockdown started, you deserve it.
I'll give a little backstory to our American friends. So I booked these 2 weeks off for the European Championships. That should have started football. That should have started tomorrow night. So we're recording this on Thursday. That should start on the Friday. But as it is, I have got 2 weeks of back-to-back empty arena football to look forward to. Because I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of that German stuff just because, like you say, it's just all a bit sterile, a bit weird. And the only reason I'm going to watch next week is because my team are in action and it's a competitive game. That's literally the only reason I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, are you getting your virtual season ticket, don't you?
Well, I've got a season ticket anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got it as part of the contract. So they're offering it for free.
Right. Oh well.
Because we're in the championship and we don't matter. So.
I think you're going to need to explain that as well, Ben. Not that I'm trying to rub it in. Hey, we might be joining you very soon. So.
Okay.
No, Stoke could be in League One.
So.
Yes, indeed.
I know it's a bit of a naughty item for our North American listeners, but we have relegation and promotion over here in football. So the top league of English football is called the Premier League. My team, Stoke, are in the 2nd division, the Championship. So the publicity isn't as great. But if you did follow football slightly over the last few years, you will have heard of Stoke, certainly, more for our long throws and our big boot football.
See if Tony Pulis became the Airdrie manager tomorrow, and we won most of our games 1-0 yesterday. Next year playing long ball football, and we get promoted again. We get out the Seaside League, so called because if you look at the map, all the teams play by the sea. I would take it. I would absolutely take it.
I think it's a thing, particularly in the last few years, last 10, 15 years, where everybody expects all the teams to play like the Barcelona way, like this nice tippy-tappy football. And if anybody does anything different from that, you're seen as like some sort of monster or dinosaur. No, it's different. There's different ways of playing the game than, like 800 passes to score a goal.
A results-driven business. A results-driven business.
If you can do it,
we ain't here to entertain. And I'm talking about football, not this show, obviously. Just in case anybody might have been confused.
Wow.
I don't know if Andy's still listening, Rory. I think you've been very generous. What we can do is we can put it in the notes. Football chat stops at this time.
Yeah.
I actually will do that, and I'm going to leave this discussion in so our North American listeners, i.e. all of them, know the attention we pay to them. As I always say, we are the special relations in more ways than one. We understand that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, MLS is coming back.
Very good. I'm not sure that's going to help very much.
NASCAR's back.
Oh, man.
NASCAR is back. I think IndyCar's coming back as well.
So what was that?
Go on, Calum.
So IndyCar's coming back as well. I don't mind it. Like, see when I don't get see the IndyCar, like the cars that go fast. See when they're on the oval, I don't have the attention span to keep seeing them turn left. But see when they're actually on a track, that's actually quite good. And obviously one of the best ever is Dario Franchitti, and the one and only time when I was working in the bank that I worked in the Bathgate branch past his dad in high street. Bathgate is a sleepy wee shithole in somewhere in the near Lothian.
I'm glad you gave the opinion. I'm glad you gave the opinion of NASCAR though, because I was going to say something similar. So you can carry that one. That's fine.
No, NASCAR is different. NASCAR's different because NASCAR is like proper stock cars, touring cars. That's always good for a crash.
Is that all you're watching 200 laps for though? Is just that one crash?
No, they crash like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
No, but when it's when it's IndyCar and they look like Formula 1 cars and their heads all exposed and you're crashing at 200 miles an hour, oh no, that's far too dangerous. That's too dangerous even for me who wants to see a crash.
Well, F1 is back as well. I think everything's coming back, isn't it, slowly but surely, just without
surely. Yeah. And trying to bring it back on a tangent. New Japan are going to start doing it, but with 33% crowds. So like a person won every 3 or 4 seats.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going to start doing with empty arena shows, and then they're gradually going to build it up to 33% capacity.
Well, our first topic of conversation is about empty arenas and different styles that we're seeing. That's very good. Calum. That's like always professional.
I know. You would think after doing this since November, I would start to know, but no. Last month I prepared and it was good.
Good as well.
Thank you.
It's all right.
But I remember seeing something goes, the strength of your to be noticeable, your brand is by having a good open and a good close. I don't think I've done the same open and the same close twice. So
variety is the spice of life, my friend.
Oh, and I bring the variety.
That's damn straight you do. Anyway, shall we get on to some wrestling chat, Jen? I can feel Rory's virtual death stare.
Don't make me put the camera on.
Okay, so I will pass over because despite having non-regularly scheduled program, we still need a booker. We still need our Dusty Rhodes baby. So Ben, take it away. Right. What is our next segment?
Okay, so last month we discussed all about empty arena shows and the company letting people go. So now that we've been watching these shows for a few months, how are we feeling, about the in-ring action, and then more specifically, the how can I put it nicely, like the Michael Bay production values that are going into some of these matches. So I'm referring to things like the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse match. I can't believe I couldn't say that. The Money in the Bank match, Stadium Stampede, that sort of thing. I will. So Rory, I will let you start us off as our resident wordsmith.
Indeed, it's very easy to be Jim Cornette-esque about this sort of thing. And anyway, I do think he's a little bit, at least just a little bit, tongue-in-cheek when he gets onto this topic anyway. I think he knows what he's doing. But he's right, be it accidentally or not. Cinematic wrestling, as it is oh so grandly being described as, I understand, but I don't accept its existence. There we go. How about that? I get what they're going for. I know why it's there. I'm on board with the attempts. But A, I don't think they've been entirely successful, possibly Boneyard aside. And B, I'm just a traditionalist, not in the way the word traditionalist is winging its way around the world in other methods right now, moving swiftly on. I mean, purely a professional wrestling traditionalist. I'm not one of these people like, okay, I'll name names. Wade Keller, who doesn't even think that other wrestlers should be wishing each other happy birthday on Twitter if they're feuding. That's this day and age, that's going far too far. If they want to use Twitter to actually build up their feuds, then I don't have a problem if they do. But I don't require them to do it. But from any pro wrestling show you watch on the television, from the opening credits to the final fade out, I want to be able to believe I am watching a professional sport in as much as I possibly can. With every caveat already attached to that, we don't need to go through those here. But I want to invest, to use a very common word in wrestling fans, in the action before me. It goes back to the old debate that was doing the rounds a lot during the Monday Night Wars. Is professional wrestling, is it meant to be a televised sport or pseudo sport, or is it, as Vince McMahon would no doubt tell you, a television show about wrestling? And perhaps unsurprisingly, really, things are being skewed a bit more towards the latter view, because let's face it, who will tell Vince McMahon that he can't? Nobody. I just find it hard to believe. Okay, I don't want to think that Bray Wyatt can Irish whip, and yes, I know Irish whips are fake moves. Ha ha ha! Don't throw that one at me. Can Irish whip John Cena across a camera shot from the Saturday night's main event set into a blue lit ring, and his costume change in doing so? Plus the fact I think that, just to go off on another tangent here, plus the fact I think the Firefly Funhouse match was is an in-depth look at the character of John Cena and making, I thought, rather crass and tenuous connections between him and Hulk Hogan, but that's by the by. That thing can't happen in pro wrestling. It can't. I would not use that as an example to show to a non-fan, because you know they would just come at you with the old, oh, wrestling's fake thing. And B, I want to believe people are athletes. I don't want to feel I'm necessarily being treated to a spectacle for the sake of it. If that ends up being what happens, then okay. But I want these people in there to win matches. I want them to want to win matches. I want them to want to win championships. All of this stuff is not a far cry from going out there and stealing the show and having the best match on the card. I mean, as we record this, there's a pay-per-view coming up in which one of those matches is being promoted as being a great match. It's not for Edge to decide that. It's not for Randy Orton to decide that. It's for us to decide after we see who wins the fucking thing. So, cinematic wrestling, I get it. I always applaud any form of entertainment. People not resting on their laurels and trying to do something different. I accept that. I don't just accept it. I do applaud it. I'm happy that it is there, but not for me.
First thing I want to say, Rory, remember, it's not just a great match, it's the greatest match.
Test. In capital letters.
Test match. Where are you standing on this, Calum?
I can see Rory's point, absolutely. Like, I can come and go on it. I thought night one of WrestleMania, so I stayed up to watch both nights as it happened, for obvious reasons. But I thoroughly enjoyed the Boneyard match. I thought watching it was fantastic. I had to have a couple of cans by that point, but I thought it was really, really good. It was mental, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was really good. But that was built up on the Undertaker wanting to kill AJ Styles because of stuff that he'd said about him and his wife, and he just wanted to, you know, it's like when you're at school. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to go to a place where I can fight you, and that's what it was. And I thought that one was really well done. The Firefly Funhouse. I mean, that could have been a network special. Put it on for half an hour, network special. Keep it off WrestleMania. It was a segment more than anything else that just happened to finish in a 3 count. At the time, I thought it was fine. I thought it was quite funny. Again, because it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I had a couple of cans, but I thought it was like it brought a smile to my face. But at no point did I ever think this is a wrestling match. The fact that it's got an entry on Wikipedia with a match time on it is quite absurd, because it wasn't a match at all. I've not seen the Stadium Stampede, so I'll reserve judgment on that. But from the clips I have seen, that looked like for the most part looked like a bit of just like a brawl, and they were just happened to be in an empty stadium where they were using their stuff around them, just like a hardcore match. But and then you've got the pool of reincarnation, which was, you know, poorly timed, poorly judged, but you can see they meant nothing by it, obviously. It's the one on NXT last week. I put Takeover on when I was working on a Monday morning, and most of the matches grabbed my attention from my screen. Cole and Dream didn't. Like, it started, I heard the girl turn up asking for an Uber, and that was you know, I wouldn't say it was funny, but it brought a smile to my face. But other than that, it was just there, and then, you know, so that did nothing for me. That was a bit rubbish. I liked the Money in the Bank. I'll give the Money in the Bank. But again, that didn't seem like a match per se. It was a bit of fun at the end of the show. The thing that I'm missing is that the matches have been decent enough, but these guys obviously feed off a crowd. So, like, for instance, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, that match would have been really good in front of a crowd. They would feed off them. Kevin Owens should never have, like, what's the point in doing that stunt off the top of the sign to no reaction other than Michael Cole shouting, or Tom Phillips, or whoever it was, shouting, why have you done that? You're dafty.
Well, the big one from that. Sorry, Cam. The big one for that weekend was Otis and Dolph. That would have been absolutely massive if it was out.
Yeah, but you put that in front of 80,000 people in Tampa.
Yeah.
Every single person would have eaten that up. You knew it was going to happen, but there's nothing wrong with knowing what's going to happen because of the way that it's been built up. Everybody would have eaten that up. I was so looking forward to that one as well.
If the story makes sense, a foregone conclusion is not a bad thing.
Exactly. I mean, you watch stuff like Coronation Street, or you watch stuff like any soap. As soon as there's a big story going, you know what's going to happen at the end. There's nothing wrong with knowing what's going to happen at the end. Yeah. It's how you get there and how you execute it. And they executed Dolph and Otis brilliantly, and just their luck. The best thing they've done in television in ages is blown off in front of no crowd.
Yeah.
You've got Drew's big moment winning in front of no crowd. You've got Io Shirai on Sunday night winning her big moment in front of no crowd. Okay, it was a small crowd, but they're getting paid to cheer. You're not getting your
basically her mates from the gym.
Yeah, aye. So you've got her pals who she sees down the performance centre. They're cheering for her. You've got people who are getting paid to cheer. It's different for me, you, Rory, who are paying to see these people. You, if you were in the crowd, you would have gone mental if you saw Io Shirai win the belt.
I just got for Io generally.
So I think that's what's missing. You're missing the moments of where the crowd's been. The crowd is definitely missing. Cinematic stuff I can come and go. If it's done well, then I'll enjoy it. But if it's stuff like Sunday night's one, it's just a waste of time.
You've hit a lot of the points I was going to say. So I'm looking at it from sort of a different direction. So we as fans over the last few months, years, have been moaning about the company never trying anything different, haven't we? You know, it's the same stuff all the time. So I actually applaud them for trying something different. It's the execution of what they're trying that is the issue. So I won't go into blow by blow of each match, but, you know, take the Ciampa versus Gargano match, for example. You know, it's 45 minutes, which in front of a crowd that laps it up is a great match, but in front of nobody, like Calum says, you're not really paying attention. You're not really that bothered about it. The Firefly Funhouse I loved and I still love, but I totally get all the criticism of it. It wasn't a wrestling match, which is kind of what you're paying for WrestleMania for. Boneyard I thought was tremendous. So that was probably the best of them. That and the Stadium Stampede have been the best of these matches so far. Calum, if Rory as well, if you've not seen Stadium Stampede yet, I implore you both to do so. It's like the best parts of wrestling with a bit of a sense of humour. And as you saw in Money in the Bank, the WWE doesn't really do humour very well, whereas AEW they seem to have that in spades.
Well, I found a couple of things on Money in the Bank quite entertaining.
Yeah, but they were expecting to get better.
Albeit I've not seen Stadium Stampede.
Honestly, it almost made me feel good to be a wrestling fan again. That's how good it was.
I like, as you say, I give them all the credit in the world for trying something different because, like, especially with WWE, you do get a lot of repetition. You see the same stuff over and over again. And see on the night, the Firefly easy for me to say, the Firefly Funhouse. It put a smile on the face. I enjoyed it because if you look at it in the context of when it was I think we maybe a week and a half into lockdown with like it wasn't a particularly joyous time.
No.
So it put a smile at the face on probably put a smile on a lot of people's faces at a time that they weren't particularly smiling. But you can see now that we've got a few of them, you can definitely see they can tell the difference between a good one and a bad one.
Yeah. The reason why I think the other one, the AEW one, works is because there was 10 of them. So, like you say, there was not that repetition. It was in a weird way, it almost was like a series of spot scenes in one match. Whereas, you know, Firefly was just the same two guys doing the same, you know, doing different stuff, and they cut it back. That match on Sunday night, I don't know if we've already seen it yet, but I got a headache. There was that many cuts going on in it. I actually got a headache at one stage. I should be getting that from a wrestling match.
Some of the bits I saw, you can use this to put silly stuff in as well. So I saw the Stadium Stampede had the pool of reincarnation, and you're getting what was it, Matter of Fact, and you're getting the old Matt Facts back. I thought that was quite good. That was well done. And
there was the Matt Facts. There was the bit at the beginning of the bar fight, but then you got the bar fight.
Mm-hmm. But did you see the bit as well? We're all brawling in the stand,
yes.
And I don't know if you've seen it, Rory, but it's harking back to our video game chat last month. Was it Kenny Omega Irish whipped one of the LAX guys through like into the, as if they're getting into where you get your beer and stuff. So in between the seats, and it's as if he's running. And they just used that to cut to a different scene, and it was as if they were doing it. It was as if it was a video game transition. I thought that was quite clever, if not entirely serious. So it does give you stuff like that. You can be creative with it, but you can try and be too smart with it as well, which there's a fine line.
I think we're getting to the point now where obviously we're all getting a bit of cabin fever. You know, do we want them to be creative, or do we want, if we've got to have this, do we just want the matches in the ring instead of being out and about?
Well, I think I'm the only person sentient, your mileage may vary, who actually wanted to see a straight up match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena at WrestleMania 36.
I think
I actually did.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah. You're not on your own there, mate. Not on your own.
Wyatt's getting his win back, you know.
Wyatt getting his win back.
I would have been okay with a 2.5 star 12-minute match between them. I genuinely would have been.
Well, I do think we're genuinely at the stage now. I'm not meaning this as any disrespect to your boy, Calum, when I say this, but, you know, we're getting to that stage, aren't we, where they're giving belts to people who, you know, are we that, or the live crowd, or are the people at home that bothered if they've got the belt? That's why Braun's got the title. In a weird way, that's why Io's got the title, because, you know, Charlotte is the, like, Roman Reigns and John Cena combined at the moment. She can't lose ever. And, you know, so even at the moment, we're in this era where, you know, they don't really care. So should we as fans care that much?
I will be absolutely gutted for the guy if this is Drew's one and done.
Yeah,
because he would never get a fair shake at it. But who knows? Who knows? It might not be, because he's a big guy. He's got what they're looking for, and you know. But yeah, it's all. Some things are making the best of a bad situation, and then other times are just using it to experiment, I think.
Yeah. I know me and Rory have both made mention of this in the last couple of months, but the empty arena has brought at least the return of trash talking back.
Yes.
Which has been a tremendous add-on. I'll give them I'm going to give full positivity for that. That's been a tremendous return back to form.
Well, we were watching the first night. Was it the first night WrestleMania where they had the first match was the women's tag team title match?
Yes.
Now, bearing in mind from where I am presently sitting, Nikki Cross's family come from 20 minutes away.
Oh, right.
So, but we were watching, and Asuka mainly, and Kairi Sane, but mainly Asuka, was just shouting and bawling and just ranting in Japanese. I had the good lady sitting next to me, and she cares not a jot about wrestling. She had no idea what was happening, but she was loving Asuka because she was just mental, and because you could hear everything she was saying. So there is something to it. It gets her personality across.
Yeah, I do hope they continue with that.
Certainly wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah. Excellent conversation, gentlemen. You know, I like the fact we all had like 3 differing viewpoints.
We don't want this place to become an echo chamber. There's plenty of that elsewhere. Respectful disagreement, you fucking idiots. Right, so what we got next?
Well, good talk, lads. Good talk. Nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion. I think that seems to be lost on people currently. Nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion on some things. It was a very good hearty debate we had there. So Ben, I hope you don't mind me stealing your thunder here, but I'm going to go all Booker man just now. Recently, you might have heard that the 3 of us were on Body Press Your Luck. Rory and Ben were on 2 months ago, and then I was on the May edition. When we were doing that, we thought we'd have a small gentleman's wager. based on our scores on body press. The person who scored the highest would get their free choice of a live watch at a future date, and much like the ultimate opportunist who's going to allegedly be in the greatest match in the history of forever this coming week as we're recording, I'm cashing in my body pressure look victory right here, right now. So I wanted to keep it on a GWCW theme, lagging behind on my GWCW research. So I thought I would watch a WCW show that I've never seen before. Obviously, live watches, we want to keep it entertaining but brisk. So I decided to watch a Clash of the Champions. Now, there was 36 Clash of the Champions shows. I couldn't narrow it down to just one. So what I did, for the ease of everything, in true WCW fashion, I'm going to spin the wheel and make the deal with the chaps tonight.
He's going to spin the wheel, make the deal, spin the wheel, make the deal, spin the wheel, make the deal. Sorry, have Robbie in response, sorry.
Thanks very much, guys. So I wanted to watch a show that I've never seen. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to take out Clash 1 and I'm going to take out Clash 9, because those are the ones that I definitely know I've seen. So we'll not be having Flair versus Sting, and unfortunately we'll not be having Flair versus Funk in the I Quit. However, there is 34 more shows that we can watch. So they're all in this wonderful random spin wheel dealie, because I want to make it the real deal on here. There's no expense spared. I spent all afternoon plugging these in. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to push the button and I'm going to spin the wheel and make the chaps chat.
Spin the wheel, make the chap chat. Spin the wheel, make the chap chat. Spin the wheel, make the chap chat. Yeah, go on.
So, gents, it's only just stopped there. There's a lot to go through. So, gents, tonight we'll be watching, and Place to Be Nation Wrestling Network, we want you to watch along to from June the 16th, 1993, we will be watching Clash of the Champions 23.
Oh,
yes.
So, looking at the list there, it looks as if we've got a cracker of a main event involving, 4 guys that I don't know if they ever really did anything before or since, but I've heard it's quite a good match. So we'll take this opportunity to have a break. We'll let you at home listening, if you're in the position. Obviously, if you're driving, don't try and watch along with us. You can do it at a later date. Really don't. Please don't. But guys, I'll let you have a chance to look up the network and its allegedly better search feature. And we'll be back to the other side of the break with Clash of the Champions 23.
Where you love me.
Place to Be Nation Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the second half of the 8th edition of this special relations podcast. We hope you've got your networks fired up, as I said before. If you're driving or if you're not in a position to, please don't put your lives at risk to listen to us, because chances are we won't be talking much about the show, given how we go. So we do like a tangent. There are some shows on the Place to Be Nation Wrestling Network that don't like a tangent as much as we do, and I'll just run you through just to give you an extra couple of minutes to find where you're looking for. So also on the Place to Be Nation Wrestling Network, you can find that this week debuts a new show on the feed. It's Highway to the Impact Zone. Logan Crosland and Jacob Williams start the Impact era of TNA with guests Sean Kidd and Lewis Maynard for their maiden flight, looking at the last weekly pay-per-view of the Impact era, of the pre-Impact era, weekly pay-per-view number 97. Also dropped on the feed this week is our very own Rory and our very own myself on the newest senior video, where we go over the epic Rampage 1992 from beginning to end. And not wanting to blow smoke anywhere, Rory, but you're doing a fantastic job with that podcast. It's been thoroughly entertaining, especially the last one that I was on was much better than the first one. So I had a great time doing it. Chris Zellner and Devin Hales were back, and they have your NXT Takeover in Your House reaction show. We've got another one of our new shows on the wrestling feed, and that is Wrestling's Chicken Salad, where some guy called Ben Locke is joined by Logan Crosland and Sean Kidd, and they go over a myriad of they're going to go over a myriad of bad pay-per-views in wrestling history. This debut episode recaps the 1991 Great American Bash. I might want to do that one again. Ben, is it you and Logan and Sean are going to do it all the time, or are you doing it with different people?
I'm doing it with them. It's us three are hosting it.
So it's always going to be the three of you?
It's always going to be the three of us, yeah.
Right, okay. Right, that's fine. We can keep that one in then. I think I probably got there now.
To be fair, it works well, because obviously, like, Sean's ancient and Logan's like 20, so we've got quite a good drink. It was
a belter, especially Logan trying to go over how El Gigante was his MVP.
Yeah, we didn't let that one go.
Can I just say, a great production job on that podcast as well.
Excellent editorialship.
Rory, I didn't want to say because it's Ben's first time hosting, but the production's much better than the hosting.
Anyone can host. It's like, there's no such thing as a great actor. It's a director behind him that tells him what's going on. Seeing Your Video is an entirely self-produced show, just apropos of nothing. Carry on, Calum.
And on the newest NWA Saturday special, which I think after 2 weeks ago is now the world's premier NWA podcast, Scott and Dr. G talk about Tim Storm and his impact on the rebirth of the NWA. Now, I had an opinion. Sorry, Ben, I think it seemed to be quite unpopular. Trademark Ben Locke. That Tim Storm may have, relatively speaking, the same is just as important as the likes of Ric Flair and Harley Race on the NWA, relatively speaking to the NWA just now. So, I'm just putting that one out there. Tim Storm should be on your NWA Mount Rushmore, and send your hate mail towards at Wrestling 20 years ago. Also, check out the Placement Nation pop feed with some great shows that include the Glenn Butler Podcast Hour Spectacular, Diamond Conversations, It Was a Thing on TV, The Year in Pop, Laugh-In Theatre, The Great Debate, A Piece of the Action, and so much more. Subscribe today. And whilst you're at it, also subscribe to a pair of tremendous other podcast feeds. Firstly, we've got Jennifer Smith's The Jenny Position feed, as it is the new home of Geek and Sassy, Talking Pop, Freak Out Drive-In, the Brother Sister Rewatch Podcast, The Journey Through Infinity, and more. And also check out the new North-South Connection podcast network, brought to you by JT Rosero, Chad Campbell, and Aaron George. It's the official home of Wrestling Warzone, No Holds Barred, the Extreme Three-Way Dance, Jeff Lennon's Wrestling, the Ruthlessly Aggressive Podcast, TNA Never Dies, and more. And as we've discussed, we've finally kicked off our 2020 stretch project, determining the greatest WCW match ever. You have until New Year's Eve to do research, promote matches, and build your list. Conversation and rules can be found at facebook.com/GWCW matches or on the Pro Wrestling Only message board. On our social media pages, the greatest junk food of all time tournament has begun. Remember to vote each and every day. Be sure not to forget to check out placemenation.com each and every day. We have new voices and fresh takes, bringing you articles on topics in the worlds of wrestling, sports and pop culture, including Trent's SmackDown and Fox Report, This Week in WWE by John Crow, Polly's Perspective, and some guy called Ben's Unpopular Opinion. And don't forget about veteran columns such as Glenn Butler's Wednesday Walk Around the Web. And finally, if you're doing shopping over at Amazon.com, please be sure to click the link on the Amazon banner, on the right-hand side of the Place to Be Nation homepage, or use placetobenation.com/Amazon, as it takes you right to the Amazon homepage and helps out Place to Be Nation at no cost to you. So, gents, have you managed to find through the strange organisation system of the WWE Network and or the pretty crap search function on said WWE Network?
Clash of the Champions 23, 61 news stories first. The second of which is the Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy from September the 23rd, 2015 NXT. 5 highlights, including the Usos versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan from SmackDown on May the 23rd, 2014.
Not the Battleground one.
No, that was the build-up to the Battleground one. The Battleground one was better.
December 23rd, 2017, this week in WWE. We don't talk about Seth Rollins anymore. So yes, there it is in the special section, Clash of the Champions 23. Or you can find it via the in-ring section, if you're sensible, i.e. not me.
And I tried the in-ring section as well, and I couldn't find it. It's not under it is under WCW, but not in the place you would think it would be.
Just look for the picture of Brian Pillman and Steve Austin looking really fucking awesome.
Well, there is that. So, gents, I take it you're on timestamp 000000.
Typing in as we speak.
Okay.
My laptop to kick into gear. Just pause it there. Yep, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Perfect. Ben, you good to go?
I'm ready and ready when you are.
Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, play. We have Clash of the Champions 23.
And I am also on closed captioning duty. Always a laugh. Here we go. World Tag Team title. What the hell is that picture of Flair? Oh my god, what jumper was that? Pillman looks like he's left the gas on in that picture.
I'm loving these 90s graphics as well.
He's wonderful.
Full on off looking scarily like my dad in that picture. That is where the similarities between them end, I just want to put out.
Rick Rude, Vader and Sid. Bloody hell.
This is
what a team that is.
WCW, baby.
What a team that is.
Ah, the scope. We'd be back there many times as well.
Yes, Stone Cold. I mean, Jesse Ventura.
Tony looking
going on the back of his head. We were talking about mullets on the last edition of Senior Video. What the motherfuck is that, Ventura, man?
What are these guys behind him doing?
I've got that Metallica shirt. Again, I hope that's what the similarities with me and that weird bloke end, but I've got that shirt. Oh, there's a mullet. The guy right in front of him, look. Just behind the Hi Dad sign. You see him? He's just gone out of a shot now. Yeah, I'm just going to put myself on mullet watch for this one, I think. So for Jesse, business is very much closed at the front.
And I don't want to go to the party he's having it at the back.
Here's Big Ron. Not that Big Ron. Definitely not that Big Ron.
I was going to say.
Nobody's going to get that reference, and they're quite lucky that they don't. Guys, Ron Simmons, thoughts?
Well, he's fell down the card here quite a bit, hasn't he? No, this playing to the crowd stuff. No, it's not him.
No, it's not a good look considering that he could, there's a guy just looking at you could make you lose control of all bodily functions. And he's trying to I don't know what that was.
Loving the headband there, by the way.
He's got his the things on his arms that he would later rock when he was an acolyte. You watch his arms. He's prototype Farouk.
Well, the APA is like the perfect gimmick for him, isn't it?
Yeah, where I am on wrestling 20 years right now, I always get a bit of a kick out of the APA. Pun intended. They're used at just the right level as well, I think.
Yeah.
It did get a little bit overdone, if my memory serves, as we get a bit through 2000. But where we are at the moment, just the right level.
It still amazes me they only won the titles, twice? 3 times max?
The APA?
Yeah.
They were the acolytes when they first won them, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. And I think they won them briefly during the invasion as well.
Well, I said they won them in 99, didn't they?
Yeah.
Paula, do you think you are a real man? I think not. That's what that sign read.
It's that whole thing about, how stacked that tag division was in 2000, wasn't it? Not just the obvious. It wasn't just the obvious 3 teams, but what was going on around them.
Well, you had the APA, you had Too Cool, who were just ridiculously popular for a good 8 or 9 months.
I had actually forgotten how smoking over they were. Watching
ridiculous.
Again week to week in 2000. It is molten. Fucking molten. Wherever they go.
You got them, TNA, the Hollies even.
You watch it, you're coming up on your chrono watches, Ben, to Survivor Series 99, are you not?
I go wrong on the phrase, but yeah, I've just done Survivor Series, so I am 2 weeks out from the wedding.
Right, so you have, so they were on. It got me how
Rikishi hasn't made his debut yet.
Yeah, but it got it when I first watched Survivor Series 99, they weren't over at all. They were so under, it was unbelievable. And then you fast forward a couple of months to the Royal Rumble, and they're get Madison Square Garden on their feet because they're dancing during the Royal Rumble. That's a transformation and a half.
We all like big fat Samoan guys dancing. I think that's the lesson to be learnt there. But go back to the chrono watch, isn't it? I know, when we were doing the list, the GWWE, Rory always said this is the match with the whatever. All you need to say to a wrestling fan is the wedding. And it's yeah, know exactly what you're talking about. Don't even need to say anything else.
Looking back, even in Las Vegas, what he did was highly illegal.
Yeah, how did that woman not? How did the registrar not notice what was going on?
It was his very convincing female voice, obviously. I sure do.
They actually, you can tell that was recorded in great taste because they actually mix up the words husband and wife. Go back and watch the segment again, and it gets left in.
Really?
Yep, watch it again. And when Triple H is trying to move the segment on, and I know how he feels, he really is trying to move the segment on as well. So I get the impression that they might have been looking behind them during the filming of that.
What are you trying to imply?
My silence speaks volumes. I've just had a brief network freeze. Sorry, if we've got a quick timestamp, you don't need to pause. Where are we?
6. We're just coming up with 6:40.
Okay, I'll just blash through. Blash, that's a word now. Using the 10-second advance.
46.
Where are we now?
47, 48, 49, 6:50 now.
Yep, I'm with you. Right. Big Ron is down, holding his face.
Yep, Dick Slater's just
getting the grind.
Do some work.
Oh, speaking of mullets, Randy Anderson's is resplendent.
Oh, baby.
Oh, my.
That is a bubble party in the back, isn't it?
That is just...
I mean, apart from Rock, look at that shot of the three of them. There's some quite 80s, early 90s hair going on there with all three gentlemen.
Here we go. Good old fucking fight. Have some of that. There we go. See, there was a time, gents, I would have been watching a match like this and my eyes would have been... nice fucking power slam. My eyes would have been glazing over, but I've got a newfound appreciation for just the romp-em, stomp-em type affair. Yeah. To use the Vince McMahonism. Somebody like Dick Slater, I would not give the time of day to a few years ago. Now I'm really enjoying deep dives like this. Newfound appreciation for guys like him.
I love Big Ron's power slam.
Yeah, looked great, didn't it? Believable finisher, unlike somebody others' power slam these days. I mean, I like Braun, but his power slam wouldn't break a fucking egg.
It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Bulldog holding him on, but it's just that sort of, that snap running power slam, isn't it? Look.
Replay coming up.
Yeah.
There you go.
There
It's
you go.
not far off a Proto Michinoku driver.
Aye.
Good stuff.
What was
Just
it?
quick
See-
TV match, no messing. Like it.
Aye. See the Spinebuster where he gets them up and just hurls them to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Like like he's still standing. He's the only one I've ever seen do it. I could
Well,
watch him do it over and over and over again.
Hotline.
We are going to see the best spine buster in the game later on, of course.
That doesn't work for that.
Hey,
This is a
here we go.
1-900
G
909
hotline as well. Look at
900.
these graphics. Oh,
Last
yeah.
adverse, here we go.
Deluxe Paint 3. Here we go, baby.
There's some clip art being going on there.
This clip art, I think it's predates clip art, doesn't it? Larry, what is that tie?
Zabisco's one of them guys. Apart from his hair colour, he has not aged a day in about 30 years.
No.
Bruno's yarn. Human game of chess. New world order.
Do you know he retired, Bruno? He doesn't mention it that often.
He retired Bruno in 1980 and did fuck all ever since. No, sorry, he was the AWA champion. Excuse me.
Well, as Rory alluded to, he did give us the New World Order.
Oh, yeah. Let us be thankful.
Oh, somebody's coming on here. Who's this? Oh, it's Butler.
Oh, here we go.
Buffer. Wow, getting the intro treatment. Oh, blimey.
So this is obviously
It's good, like,
Eric must be in charge now.
Yeah, Eric's been in charge since about January, I want to say.
Because I'm
It's
sure he
all
said
late.
that was one of his first things was to get him in, to make it like a big fight. Feel.
You know, so I've been going back to sort of 93 WCW a lot lately. So with the Saturday nights dropping, so you know, it's amazing how like Jesse suddenly reappears when Tony's back on commentary and all that.
For some reason, I'm not getting the closed captions on this one. What do we think Buffer's saying? Brett Clark?
Are you ready? Probably.
He's
He's got his notes there with him, look.
Yeah,
This-
yeah, good. Cards ready.
Not written on his hand. Just wanna-
But he was going off and saying I've got to I've got to go with the experience. But Ric Flair's a 9-time champion, and he's talking about Arn Anderson. He talked like it was almost sounded as if he knew what he was talking about.
Well, they actually had him doing some punditry there.
Yeah. They asked him who they obviously he is an impartial announcer, but who'd you fancy in the main event?
I think those notes have just been explained. Here comes Marcus Bagwell, and you
Not
just
quite
know
forced.
he is still using that picture on the websites he frequents these days. Or was it Angels? And I don't know. Fuck knows. I'm not going to look it up.
Angels and Cowboys.
Angels and. Thank you, Calum.
You're very welcome.
That wasn't one of your P thoughts, was it? Don't answer that. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here we are. Now we're talking.
Yes. From Blackpool,
Sorry,
England,
now we
Lord
are-
Steven Regal.
Now we are talking.
Going back to that like early 93 WCW, he comes in, you know, as like a smiling baby face, and it is so off-putting.
I can't imagine him as a smiley baby face.
Honest to God, he's tagging. He actually, I can't remember if he tagged with Bagwell as well, but he definitely tags with Eric Watts. And he's like, is there a bigger juxtaposition of talent in two wrestlers that have tagged together than that?
He teamed up with. Oh my God, really?
Teamed up with Eric Watts as a smiling baby face.
Motherfucker.
He must have been looking at that guy in the ring going, what the fuck is this?
I really hope that shirt she was wearing says Miracle Wanker then. That would have been perfect. Those letters were covered up.
That camera was very carefully placed, wasn't it?
Definitely said Miracle Wanker, then cut back to Regal.
So are we in agreement here, chaps, that Regal for the Hall of Fame is a case of when and not if?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't really care that much about the Hall of Fame, but yes.
Well, he's one of Triple H's boys as well, so you know it's going to be happening.
Indeed, yeah.
Let's not hold that against them.
I mean, look at this. Even in '93, you still got that face of disdain. Does anybody do a better face of disdain than Regal?
Nah, it's fantastic.
Just for a bit of disclosure, the Arn Regal match from '94 is going to be definitely top 20, probably top 10.
Yeah, that's a divisive match, that one. I'm with you, Ben. I think it's great. But I can see that one finishing quite low down on the composite list, I'm afraid. I love it. I'm with you.
I don't think it'll be, like you said, I don't think it'll be in that high on the main list, but it's going to be that high on mine.
You could not do a match like that on pay-per-view today, though, could you? You just couldn't do it. There'd be fucking riots. Assuming there were fans there too.
You'd have to call it the greatest match ever. I want to say, off the top of my head, Calum, it's on Super Brawl '94. It might be Spring Stampede. It's definitely a '94 show, though.
Super Brawl 4, '94.
I was going to say, because I watched Spring Stampede recently, and I don't think it was on that. Is Regal not against Antonio Inoki or something?
He is.
On that.
That's a strange one.
Bagwell here trying to do some chain wrestling.
Super Brawl 4, there's a match, there's a show that could have the highest percentage of matches on the. Because you've got one of those, a match for Super Brawl 4 in your top 5 already, have you not, Ben?
That's Slamboree. That's the one we watched.
Oh, the Slamboree match. Sorry, aye.
But that Slamboree show as well. That statement could apply to that Slamboree show quite easily.
That's a great run of pay-per-views WCW had throughout '94. That's a hell of a run. Super Brawl, Spring Stampede, Slamboree's good. Bash at the Beach.
Well, I can't remember if I said it to you guys, but I've said it before. It doesn't happen that often with companies, but you can actually pinpoint the moment where things are going to go downhill, and it's as soon as Hogan takes the mask off at the end of Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Then
you've got Starrcade and the Barber in the main event, and that's it.
The other good example of that I have is that. It's how bad it is in my memory. I can't even remember which WrestleMania it was, but it was I think it might be 34. It's a brilliant WrestleMania up to the moment Daniel Bryan does the yes chants on the ring post, and then it all goes downhill from there.
34, right?
Yeah.
So
because the first thing that they do after that's take him out the match straight away.
Yeah, I always use them two analogies, like. Everything's going well up to that point. You can actually pinpoint them when it goes wrong. But
they gave Shane most of the match. That's where it went wrong.
Going back to Rory's point, WCW '94 is tremendous. I've used the phrase "chicken food for the soul" before, and I stand by that.
Great run of pay-per-views. I mean, and everybody talks. I know our boy Scott says that the best run of pay-per-views ever. Rumble 01, No Way Out 01, WrestleMania 17. A claim that has a great deal of credence to it, make no mistake. But WCW 94, bit of a run for its money.
Them three, like Super Brawl, Stampede, and Slamboree, yeah.
I think that's the three I would probably pick.
And even Bash for the Hogan moment, you could put that in there.
Bash was okay, because you've got a good Vader against Guardian Angel match as well, or the Boss, or whatever he was called at the time. Boss Man.
Big.
Those are good matches. Again, the sort of match I would have had disdain for many years ago, but now I really... It's two big fellas beating the hell out of each other. It more than has its place, when done correctly, like it was there. Look at Regal selling here. He's just a fucking joy, isn't he? I know I'll be accused of bias, but fuck it.
I
think there's some things you can be biased on. We're not gonna...
Did you rank?
You're just biased towards good wrestler. You're just biased towards good wrestler.
Everybody else loves Regal anyway, so we're on safe ground with this one. It's not like Big Daddy or something. Easy.
I know Calum's doing a lot more. Got to do a lot more research, so he might not be able to answer this. But how many Regal matches do you reckon are going to make it into your top 100?
See, this is the thing. It's as great as he is. There probably aren't that many, because
Yeah.
who was on par with his style at this point? Nobody. I mean, Bagwell's given it the old college try here, in fairness to him, but he's just completely out of his depth through no real fault of his own. And others greater than him would struggle the same way over the next couple of years as well. There probably won't be that many Regal matches in there. There will be the one against Arn. There will be the one against Finlay from Uncensored.
Yes.
I was going to say that's almost a nailed on one.
Bollocks at each other.
Well,
But otherwise, put it this way, researching is going to be fun. I will say that.
Yeah.
Does he not have a decent one against Davy Boy as well? I know he has a
sort of-
match against Davy Boy, but is it not a? No, I've never seen it.
This year. That match
Is it
started 93.
I'll look that up, Paul. You do.
I think it is Havoc 93, or is it maybe Starcade 93?
So there's the two. There's all in the Finlay one that Rory's mentioned. There's also the Finlay backlot brawl match, which
yes,
depending on your viewpoint, is it wrestling? Is it not? Or, it's gonna be a time. That one.
Part one's a long time ago.
I want to say there's a match on Nitro with Benoit that is also really good.
Ah, yes, there is. Early 96?
Yeah, something like that. Late 95, early 96, something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where he wins, where I think Benoit just misses a splash or something, and Regal just pins him in a rather odd finish.
Yeah. It's really good. It's sneaky good. It's one of them 3.5, 4-star matches on TV.
We were talking off air that I might need a lot of semi-random Nitro matches to help pad out the lower reaches of my list. That could probably one such. I was right, by the way. Lord Stephen Regal with Sir William wrestled Davey Boy Smith to a time limit draw, 15 minutes for the World TV Championship at Halloween Havoc 93.
Havoc.
50 points for me.
I always loved that.
But never mind.
That Regal said that he was the main champion of WCW because he didn't want to be. He's too heavy to be a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight, depending on what time you're talking about. He didn't want to be. He's British. He didn't want to be the champion of the United States and sully his good name. And everyone watches TV every week, so he's the champion of the world and is on television every week. So that's why he's better than the world heavyweight champion.
I think that's part of the reason why the TV title gets so remembered, isn't it? Because the champion is on TV every week. Which is something you can't always say about, them months at a time when Hogan would go missing, for example.
Mr. Max Payne here. Quoting from Sweating Bullets by Megadeth, if I remember correctly. Hello, me, it's me again. How could anybody not know that Bischoff dyed his hair? Look at that. Now that's before he got the fucking iron on it. Look at that.
You want to see? I'm looking at the massive shoulder pads he's got.
Yeah, I'd say that is quite the Dynasty power suit he has got on.
Oh, hello.
I was wondering what he had in his hand. That's a bad blaster, is it not?
It is the bad blaster.
He stole it.
You know this Johnny be bad.
Oh!
What a bump that is, by the way.
Jesus.
You got him the pretty as a picture. After that, he won't look just like Little Richard. But don't be fooled by his looks.
Has he got a beam left hook?
Johnny, the search for Cactus Jack continues.
Oh no! Is that Lost in Cleveland? Or
Lost in Cleveland.
We talk about cinematic wrestling in the half.
Oh, he's in the ring now.
He has got lovely, well-conditioned hair, though. Oh, hello.
Just the Z man.
Very, very early 90s tracksuit bottoms.
God, Zenk was still around in 90. This must have been pretty much it for him. Zenk in mid-93?
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen, like I say, some of them Saturday nights I've seen Zenk and Gunn tagging up.
Well, that was a little bit before this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like Zank again. He has his place.
Very good.
Some nice hidden gems out there. Good one against Pillman a couple of years before this.
Apparently, Tom Zenk was in WCW right into 1994.
Wow, into 94. Blimey.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you got to remember, even back then they had a lot of TV shows.
True.
didn't they?
True. Of course, if they were on the network, we'd be able to see them close. I want those pros and those worldwides on the network, and I want them on there now.
Well, Worldwide.
Use my potential influence for good.
Worldwide was sort of big intro into watching wrestling on a regular basis, anyway.
Tom Zenk last wrestled on WCW Saturday Night in March of 1994. He lost to Bunkhouse Buck on Saturday night.
Rory will remember, because he's our facts and figures man. Do you remember watching Worldwide on a Saturday afternoon, Rory?
Predates my wrestling fandom, although I did borrow the tape, or a friend of mine who was watching wrestling at the time did lend me some tapes about 3 or 4 years afterwards, so I saw a few of them. But I didn't watch it.
When I couldn't go to the football on Saturday afternoon, it was destination viewing.
Right, so here's one for you guys. Because when we were talking about on senior video last week, I did my research because I remembered there was some graphics that reminded me of when Worldwide was on Channel 5. Yes. They couldn't show chair shots. So, what is I think I asked you this in our chat. What's the link between the special relations and the end of WCW?
Ah, you teased us with this, didn't you?
Any guesses?
Oh. Go on.
Yeah,
so,
got me.
31st of March was the last ever WCW show. They showed Worldwide on the 31st of March, on the Saturday before WrestleMania 17. The last ever thing that a WCW ever presented. The last match that
I know where this is going.
It ever showed was the War Games from Fall Brawl 94, which is what we live watched on Special Relations number 1. So there you go.
Not at all strained, my friend. A very natural link there. Is that Mark Lawrenson holding the Barry the Man Who Stands Alone sign at the moment? Right, my own trivia question now. Here we go. This event took place on June the 16th, 1993. In the middle, my friends, of what sporting competition? I'm sure there were very many, but what one am I specifically referring to?
In
June 1993.
Yep.
So that takes away all the football tournaments because they're in even years.
Or does it?
Okay.
Is it tennis?
Wimbledon's usually July.
It's the start of July.
You might be able to stick with football, Benjamin.
Oh, okay.
With football? On June the 6th? Is it on June the 16th? We're talking about.
No match. There you go. Giving it away now. No match took place on this date, but the tournament was still taking place. It ran from the 6th of June to the 19th of June.
Is it? I'm sure. Is it something like the World Youth Championship that took place in this country?
No.
No, not that one. No.
I've got a story about that. The 1989 under 17 World Cup was in Scotland, and Scotland got to the final and lost to Saudi Arabia, whose average age of their team was 22.
Foiled again.
I kid you not.
Well, when that World Youth Championship took place in England, they played a match at Stoke, which I went to, and saw the greatness of a very young Robbie Fowler. He was about 16. There you go. There's my boring fact. Go on, Rory. Tell us the answer.
The US Cup.
Of course. Was this the
preview for the World Cup?
It was.
Is this the Alexi Lalas goal and all that?
It is indeed. That is when England were defeated 2-0 2-0, if you will, by the United States in the first match of that tournament.
When we were managed by Graham and Graham Taylor and built our entire team around Colton Palmer.
As you do.
14 caps, Carlton Palmer.
As you do.
Who got the United States' first goal in that? I remember watching that game live the day before my 11th birthday. Who got the United States' first goal in that one?
Eric Wijnaldum.
That's a bloody good guess.
Is it Eric Wijnaldum?
No, it's not. Good. No. He got their first goal in the 94 World Cup. It was Tom Dooley who scored the US's first goal. And it was a preview for the World Cup, as you have rightly said. The World Cup that England didn't even qualify for in the end.
Oh, fucking welcome to our world.
And as Rory just mentioned there, we are recording this on the 11th of June, and it's the day after Rory's birthday. So very many happy returns for the 10th, Rory. I know I'm risking
yes.
live, but
Happy belated birthday, sir.
I will do it publicly.
Thank you very much indeed.
I trust you had a very good sort of lockdown day.
I did. There was cake. There were a couple of bottles of Hobgoblin, because it was midweek after all. Don't want to overdo it. And there was disc 1 of the CM Punk Best in the World Blu-ray. A birthday well spent, I'm sure you will all agree, gentlemen.
I would agree with that. By the way, this match is very good, by the way.
Yeah, this is an excellent one. We should say Windham against Scorpio. Seems like a bit of a random pairing, but if memory serves, it's the old alchemy in this one.
I would argue that sort of 92 and 93 are Barry's best years. I mean, I know the match in 87. I know the match in 87 is Barry's best match, but in terms of consistency, I'd go with this.
Again, Barry is somebody, look at me with the first name terms, someone it's hard for me to be impartial about because I'm a fully paid up mega fanboy. Even fucking West Texas rednecks, Barry Windham has a.
Well, I will stand to your judgment because I'm a well, I wouldn't say casual fan. I'm a bit more than a casual fan, but you probably know more about him than I do. But there's no gut hanging out at this stage either.
And I think it's a word that is overused, but he is underrated. In the very literal sense, he is underrated. I just think he's great. He's fantastic. He's a oftentimes wonderful wrestler.
He was just very unlucky to be always in Flair, literally at times, always in Flair's shadow.
It's like the old Andy Murray thing before he finally won a Grand Slam. In any other era, he'd be a multiple-time champion.
He really would. I mean, look at him. What is he? 6'6", 6'7"?
About that, isn't he? Going up top
look
here.
Look at the way he flies off that.
Baby. Look at that.
See his devastating knee injury. Is that still to come, or has that happened already? Did he not get a really bad knee injury at one point? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Pass. I will come off the US Cup Wikipedia page.
I think
there's been enough gloating from our listeners that we lost 2-0 to the United States now anyway. You've had your 5 minutes, everyone.
Yeah, we've kind of brushed that aside.
Speaking of right, back to quickly to the US Cup.
Amazing performance in that 94 World Cup. Oh no, we weren't there. No, carry on.
Did Ireland play in the US Cup in '93?
They didn't.
No. I'm trying to think there was something, because I watched a video on, don't know if either of you are on the YouTube or see SB Nation on YouTube.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they did one, and one of their series is about guys who have, it's the beef they call it, so guys who don't particularly get on, and they did one about Mick McCarthy and Roy Keith. And it was really, really good. But it all stems back. I thought it all started at the 2002 World Cup, but apparently it started when they were on a trip and Mick McCarthy was still the captain. It all kicked off
long ago.
And I think it was on. They were on a summer tour, and it was to the States. So I thought it might have been that, but it might have been one before.
To be fair, be fair, Roy Keane could have an argument with a paper bag, couldn't he?
But he fucking detested Mick McCarthy.
Oh, that Windham DDT.
Oh yeah, that DDT. The Jake DDT will always be number one, but that's number two, isn't it?
Oh, that's a sexy pin right there.
I just want to get in that Roy Keane quote. Apologies in advance, everybody, but this is it verbatim. The views of Roy Keane are not necessarily the views of the Special Relations podcast. You're not. This is what he said to Mick McCarthy before walking out on him in the 2002 World Cup. You're not even Irish, you English cunt. Stick it up your bollocks.
Stick up your bollocks. Do you ever remember? Was it just after Sunderland played Man United early doors in the 2002-2003 season, and Jason McAteer left one on Roy Keane? He went absolutely through him, and Roy Keane looked up and tried to say something, and he turned round, and you can see him. He's doing the wee gesture about writing, and he goes like that. Stop talking, just write it in your next book, you cunt.
Yes.
I was like, oh, brilliant.
Got to give him that one.
The obvious one, the most readily available for our American friends to find on YouTube is the clip from the tunnel from inside Highbury, isn't it? When Vieira's trying to go at Neville, and Keane just sort of politely tells him what a cunt he is live on TV.
Those chilling 4 words. See you out there.
Yeah, pick on someone your own size, despite Patrick Vieira being a foot and a half taller than him.
You all know the other great Jason McAteer story, right? The story that Neil Ruddock tells, and Stan Collymore too, so you can definitely believe it.
Go on,
when they were,
if Stan Collymore told it, I've not listened.
Another name for you to look up, everybody. They were out for a club where they were all playing for Liverpool at the time, having a club meal, and they were at a pizza restaurant, and they all had their pizzas given to them, and the waitress delivered Jason McAteer's pizza, and she says to him, do you want to cut into 4 pieces? And he responds, no, I'm not that hungry, just cut it into 2.
Oh my God.
The good old Spice Boys.
And people in this country say that footballers are thick.
Must have been those white suits seeping through to their brain, I think.
Jesus, man.
Anyway, Barry Windham versus Too Cold Scorpio from Clash of the Champions.
We've given this very short shrift, and it is a great match.
Yeah, just ignore us and watch this. Calum, once again, sir, you are right. Yeah. And it's so easy for me to say that. After a successful title defence against Too Cold Scorpio, spoiler alert, Windham dropped the NWA belt to Flair at Beach Blast while injuring his knees and then disappeared from wrestling for almost a year.
Oh, so that was like right after it then, because Beach Blast's in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
So where do you stand on Windham and Scorpio then, Callum? Are you big fans? Or?
Oh, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, this is ace. Look at that drop kick.
Again, he's 6'7".
He shouldn't be able to do that.
God, he's so fucking good, this man. I love Windham so much.
I remember
myself.
Do you know what I think it is? Why people don't rate? Maybe like Rory says, like why he is underrated so much, because people see them 2 WWF runs and then just realise, just think of it.
Yeah.
And you watch him here, you watch him in '87.
Stalker.
But it's like, I think you were quite right with his Andy Murray comparison. It's so he's like, so 87, he's excellent. 88, he's either in the Horseman or he's been overtaken by Luger. Next time then Luger goes away or gets cold, and then you've got Sid to deal with. He's just always been seemingly in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Stalker and what was the other one? He wasn't the Widowmaker. Was he the Widowmaker?
Well, the Widowmaker, I don't even think he got on television. No. His dad and his brother were doing the old Mickey Thomas.
Oh, yes.
Right about the same time as well. That was a bit later, Mickey Thomas. Again, another reference you'll need to look up. Yes, he's a footballer. Are you happy now?
Well, since we brought Earl Hebner being on the take back in 1989, leading up to the Survivor Series 97 on Senior Video, Rory, we could probably have Kendall Windham and Blackjack Mulligan and Mickey Thomas in the same cartel.
I think we've cracked it at last.
It's a worldwide cartel.
Oh,
Have
nearly.
either of you, I'm guessing Rory has, I don't know about Calum, have either of you seen that Scorpio Benoit match from Super Brawl yet?
Yes.
Super 2, I most certainly have.
I watched it I've seen it from the many moons ago from the Benoit DVD. Is it Hard Knocks DVD?
Well, I watched
Knocks,
it.
but-
Like I say, I've been going right through this 93 stuff, and I've kind of already decided it's going to be my number 50 match. If you remember when we did the other lists, I sort of used like benchmark matches, and I think that match is going to be like my number 50. You know, my above-below match.
Is it better than or is it worse than?
Yeah.
What we used to call the Cody line before he became the master and ruler of the entire multiverse. Yeah, I do need to do a lot more GWCW watching, including that match. On last viewing, it was pretty damn tasty.
I haven't got my number 100 match yet because I got that much straight away, didn't I, in the other list? But
Go on, Scott.
Yeah, that's going to be my number 50. This is going to might make it, you know, this match.
I think
I think it's good.
The crowd were into that near.
Oh, they absolutely were.
On their feet.
This is one of those.
This is cracking, this match.
Not that I'm not enjoying watching it with you, but this is definitely one I'm going to need to rewatch with the crowd noise.
Oh, look at the talk on that Rana.
Yeah. Look, the crowd can make or break a match, as we were saying earlier on. But Scorpio's just so fucking good.
Oh yeah. Well, again, another guy had a great year, you know. So he had those two matches, and then he's got the tag team with Bagwell come in, and that is pretty good, all right, to be fair.
I was just about to ask you earlier on, and then I remembered, but I'll bring it up anyway. I was saying, where was he during the height of the Monday Night Wars? Because he was just so good that he just seemed to go missing. He was Flash Funk. Oh Jesus, man!
Yeah, look at that.
Was that?
He flipped 90 degrees when he was practically above Windham. It looked like he was just going to somersault in, then he turned it into a side splash.
ECW, Flash Funk, and Job Squad, wasn't he?
See the guy that just did that? How is he and Flash Funk the same guy?
He is bringing it on the offensive. He is emptying the barrel. And the crowd, they are eating it up with a ladle, and so they should. I'm actually on my feet here watching this match.
It's matches like this that Tony is excellent at commentating as well. Because he just acts like a fan all the time.
Tony and Jesse will be having the time of their life for this.
Yeah, I'll need to watch this with the commentary. Not the fact Wooden there just quells the mutiny with a punch in the face. Yeah, stitch it out, Jimmy, and look at that.
Stereo, look at that.
Oh, that was great. That was fantastic.
That with that on first, I'll say first view, but first view for a while, that's 4 stars easy.
Oh, without a doubt. I thought I'd probably say that's baseline. I think that was a stunningly great match.
That was superb.
Kicked arse, to use the proper expression. Kicked arse. Yeah, that was magnificent. I'm ashamed to say I'd completely forgot. That's how you do it. I can have some of that. Yeah, I'd forgot this match existed, I'm ashamed to say, but very glad I've been reminded of it. There's nowhere else to go on that DDT.
This is why I wanted to watch something I'd never seen before, because I would never even have thought to watch this match if I'm running through it.
That was spanking. And everybody just press pause on the random bollocks that we're coming out with. Go back and watch it with the commentary, then join us again in 15 minutes. We really don't mind. We know our place.
We provide a service, but the match is what we're here for.
There's Deluxe Paint 3. I think I've overshot it with Deluxe Paint 3 for those graphics. Deluxe Paint 2 given the animation.
More dodgy tie goings on with Tony here.
Yeah, what is that? Jesse wearing one of his own t-shirts.
And what's going on with Red Cap in the background? He's enjoying himself a bit too much.
Yeah, blue shirt that he's just about to order a video cassette of tonight's Clash of Champions.
How 93 are we ordering a video cassette?
$19.99 plus $4.50 shipping.
Plus an extra 8.25% for our friends in California. Oh, here we go.
That's just West Coastish.
9710 DeSoto Avenue in Chatsworth. Ooh. Checks made payable to Ames Media. Include a return address. Allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. 1993, everybody.
Checks.
We don't know how good we've got it with the network now, do we?
Look at Matey with the Polaroid camera there. He's just gone behind the hi dad sign. I hope he's still got those pictures. He's just out of shot at the moment. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh, that's a colourful team right there. Good
That's
Lord.
that's a lineup right there. I don't mean that sort of lineup. I mean 3 good wrestlers. Yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now. There's going to be a lot of Dustin in my list, I think.
Oh yeah. Not just king of the road, Jenny. Don't worry. There's more.
Because the big difference between him, like, this is what I got watching the Charlotte match the other day. She does a lot of the stuff that her dad does. Doesn't do a lot of original stuff. Cody does a lot of stuff that Dusty and Dustin do. But Dustin does a lot of stuff that only he does.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He's very different to the other two.
Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say it's easy to get caught up in the tropes, like shucking and jiving and doing the bionic elbow because of how famous your dad is. But
I think that's part of the reason why his first face turn in the WWF in '97 didn't really take, because he was doing Dusty cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was doing the old flip, flop, and fly and all of that, and didn't wash. And didn't get over as a face as he could have done. Because he's a great face, Dustin Rhodes. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily in this run right here.
You've just well, I don't know if you inspire me. That's the word I'd use, but I'm thinking of my next unpopular opinion column might be about Miss Flair. I'm getting a bit annoyed with it, so we might have to touch that very.
I think you might want to write it quickly though, lest it actually not become, or lest it not be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I think more and more people will be agreeing with you as each day passes. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I've become like oh, look at these boys.
Oh, look at this team.
Let's just use this subject. Again, pure man on the screen.
As you would
Just
say,
that.
Calum, you and your countrymen would say, that's a fucking unit right there.
That's a unit.
Fucking
That's a unit. That is a unit of units. And look at look at behind. You've got Harley Race and Rob Parker as well. Bloody hell.
I'm just gonna have to listen to the theme music just a sec, just to see what it is.
Rob Parker bringing his unit with him, of course. Because we have to make that reference every time he appears on this program.
There's 6 units there.
It's not simply ravishing. I'm back.
I don't think it's the Vader theme either, so it must be Sid's.
Yeah, they play fast and loose with Rue's musics on the network. Like they dub out the stripper theme for his WWF run and replace it with a sort of knockoff stripper theme.
But I thought the stripper theme was their own.
And me too. Yeah. Likewise.
You are aware of my feelings towards Simply Ravishing, aren't you? I've made that very clear.
Is that in on here?
It is on here, yes.
Okay, well, that's something.
Because I think would they not own the Slam Jam?
Yeah, I was just going to say that because stuff like
because Don't Step to Ron was on it as well. And that's a weird.
Natural and a man called Sting. All of that survives intact.
For those who aren't aware, I mean, I know that you two are, but I don't think I've made this feeling on this podcast. Simply Ravishing is, in my opinion, the greatest wrestling theme tune of all time. There you go, I've said it. I've dropped that bomb.
I think we've just stumbled upon your next unpopular opinion, actually. Might get a bit more kickback on that than you would by saying, I don't like Charlotte very much.
It's not that, I don't. It's not that I don't like Charlotte. I
don't like Charlotte anymore.
Oh, thank you, Rory. I've never particularly liked her, but I'm glad people are now coming because see for WrestleMania it was only me and Sean, and see when Sean agrees with you, it's not necessarily a good thing.
She is good in the ring. I'd be lying if she wasn't. But it's all a bit...
Is she, though?
All a bit mechanical.
All she does is just does, like, I watched the match the other night. Right, other than a spear, which, like, let's be honest, it wasn't much of a spear. She ran into her and then, like, she almost tripped onto her. They didn't really... It was there. She chopped them. Who does that? Who's famous for doing a chop? Is there a figure four? Who's famous for doing a figure four? Oh, sorry. She's a bit flexible. She could do a handstand though. She's doing that, and that somehow makes it a figure eight. Somehow makes it even more painful. No, she's doing her dad's move. What is she doing when she stands up? She looks at them. She walks around. She looks at the camera and goes, "Woo!" Who does that? Oh, she's cosplaying as her father.
I'll play devil advocate slightly. You know, if I'm a wrestling promoter and I have got a woman who is, 5'9", 5'10", blonde, with legs like that and a body like that, am I pushing her to the moon? Yes, I am. But you've got to, at times, relax that push just a little. This past week, on that Raw that's just happened, she beat the tag champs, the SmackDown Women's Champ and the Raw Women's Champ in one night.
Yeah, that's just...
that does nothing for anybody.
Yeah, that's Triple H's reign of terror level, that is.
Yeah. And I don't think it's Charlotte going, oh, by the way, can you book me? I don't think it's her at all, but...
No, I think even Triple H, reign of terror, would go like, do you not think that's a bit much here, guys? No, I don't get it. I've never, if I'm going to be honest, I've never got it. I thought she's bang average at best.
It's just this whole thing now where, like, she's more protected. Like I said in the first match, she's more protected than Cena and Reigns combined.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, but at least in my opinion anyway, at least Cena and Reigns entertain me. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to my pals on I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning. He goes, I think one of them made the same point. I was like, but at least they entertain me. Even Triple H during the reign of terror entertained me somewhat. I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly harsh, but I'm not a fan.
I think I'm with you.
I don't think you're being overly harsh. I don't think there's anything, like I say, I don't think there's anything wrong with being critical of her. But it's the booking of her rather than her herself I've got a problem with.
Oh, brilliant.
It looked like they just fucking flung him after that.
Yeah.
Where should we put him? Just don't fucking down.
That's the whole reason we thrown him on him, so you can protect him, but then we'll just throw him down.
So how many of the 9 million Sting versus Vader matches are going to make your list? All 9 million?
Well, yeah, of course. The entire list will just be a tie of those 9 million. Off the top of my head, their weakest big match is probably Slamboree 94, and even that's a solid 3.5. Yeah.
From what I remember, the one at Starrcade 92 is really, really good.
I think that's maybe the best one.
Yeah.
But Bash 92 is great. Super Brawl 2. It's a fucking amazing run of matches.
There's going to be at least 3. The White Castle of Fear.
If ever there were two guys who were made to wrestle each other, it's those two.
Even more than Sting and Flair.
Yeah, I'd say so, even more than that. I'm not sure how many Sting Flair matches will make my list, to be honest with you. Because I had my issues with the Clash 1 contest. And after that, their best one is probably Bash 90? And I don't think that's getting in there. Okay, great moment. But even then, the box burst a bit from a few months before when it was meant to be at Wrestle War 90. And Sting did one at the Clash beforehand.
It's not obviously a singles match, and they're not even facing each other, but I'm definitely putting in the Havoc 95 match.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the moment.
Yeah,
that's... But as far as them two together, I'm thinking it probably will just be the Clash 1, and that'll be about it.
It depends what my cut-off rating will be for like 95 to 100. I think Clash 1 could just sneak in there, but it's going to do no better than that.
It's going to be one of your flamethrower ones again.
It could be one of your historical context ones, I suppose.
There won't be too many of those this time around.
I don't think I was going to say that. I don't think there's going to be many of them for at WCW.
I think it's going to be a more purely quality-based list. I don't think there's going to be too many nostalgic / sentimental picks, because I don't think many people have the same attachment to WCW as they do to WWF. I'm sure there are people listening who will disagree, and I can think of at least 3 people who may or not have a show on this very network who probably would dispute that. But I think the cachet is different. And I think that's actually the reason why we've already had so much feedback on, say, the Facebook page, because people are going to apply differently to the WCW list. Yes. You do need to research it more, I think.
Yes.
So I better get a fucking firecracker up my arse and do it over the next 6 months, because I'm well behind at the moment.
I think as well, with, as far as us 3 are concerned, there isn't, like Rory says, for us 3 geographically, there isn't that nostalgia.
Yeah, we just didn't see it in the same way. In a very literal sense, we didn't see it.
Yeah. And so, as well as that, obviously, with it being a more historical thing, isn't it? So, there's a definite cut-off of 2001. There's no, there's this random Reigns Styles match from this pay-per-view that...
Precisely.
Only a couple of people can remember. It's like, oh, yeah, it's that show. There's none of that going to be going.
But even, so the ballots closed for last year on Hogmanay. Sorry, for people out with Scotland, New Year's Eve. But there was votes for, if you've seen the lower reaches, the 2 War Games matches for last year were both listed. You had matches from December Raws and NXTs. I think Shayna versus Rhea from the last NXT of the year got a vote. So that's the issue you've got with WWE, whereas WCW there's a finite. There's only 20 years you can pick from.
I know Rory took the piss out of it quite often, but even if we did decide to talk about it, it ain't gonna take us 10 hours. Even if we wanted to talk about it for 10, it ain't gonna take 10 hours this time.
Very, very famous last. I think we can get it done in one show this time. One 10-hour show, but one show.
Yeah, A, because of the finite amount of matches that we've got to choose from, and B, we kind of got sick of the list as we were going on, didn't we? That first show, we were like, yeah, we're ready for this, and then
I wouldn't say we got sick of it. It's just when you work through the list, you're going to start coming over the same matches again, aren't you?
Yeah.
For obvious and good reason, but in the early knock-ins, that's when these things can often be the most interesting. Because they're ones that other people won't have voted for, you won't have thought about.
Yeah, and I think that will certainly be the case with this a bit more. Rory's made a point a couple of times about saying about big man matches, boss matches. So somebody might have a slant towards them. Somebody else might have a slant towards cruiserweight matches. So, those nitros of like those 96, 97 nitros, a lot of matches from them might make it in because of the, basically 2 high-flying guys just going for 10 minutes. But how many of them do you want to see?
Oh, look at Sid bringing the takedown there.
This match has been quite crazy.
Keep up.
Bloody hell.
This has been another good match.
I was going to say, this has been brilliant. This has been really good as well.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, this one. A good big name TV tag match here.
Is Sid the best bad wrestler of all time?
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody else is even in the picture.
The reputation that guy's got, but everybody loves him.
Right, rightly so. Just look at him.
Everyone talks about having that intangible. You can't teach. You've either got it or you don't. Well, whatever the intangible is, Sid's got like an overdose of it.
Yep. Sid is it, as far as I'm concerned. He hasn't got it. He is it.
It's just all it.
Nice power slam by Dustin there. Is that really Sid on Twitter, by the way? The one who watches Raw and breaks it down in minute detail. I want to believe, like I said earlier in section 1, I want to believe.
I mean, honestly, look at the 6 men. The level of talent is astounding, isn't it? When you just look at just, you could just imagine any company could run on these 6 for like 2 years probably with the combinations.
Tombstone by Dustin.
But see when you the WCW roster was just in like 97, 98 was just like quantity. With the amount of guys they had on, you were going to have good guys, and you were going to be able to get good matches out of them. A bit like WWE just now. But seeing like 93 when they got a smaller roster, this must be like the highest ratio of like excellent wrestlers that you could probably pick.
Well, I've said it somewhere before. I totally get why they signed him, and I totally get the perception, the publicity. But did WCW actually need Hogan in terms of the wrestlers they got already? Hogan put him on that next level publicity-wise.
Yeah, you've just said it. That's why they signed him.
Yeah. I get that part of it, but
match just ended. We've missed the endings quite a lot on today because we're just rabbiting.
Rick Vader just walloped. Who's that? Dustin with
the old Halliburton.
Yeah.
The new Halliburton. It would become an old Halliburton a few years down the line.
I think Rue's about to do something you're going to regret now.
Go on, Sting, sort him out.
Have any of you seen that Sting the Lost tape thing yet on the network?
I've not. No, is it any good?
It's all right. They really have padded it to half an hour because the last 15 minutes is the match that they are referencing all throughout.
So what exactly is it? Just like some backstage clips of before the match against?
It's basically the day of uncensored. It's basically the day of uncensored 95 from like Sting getting to the arena to when he leaves. He's allowed cameras to follow you around.
Oh, well. It's like wrestling with shadows, but less controversial.
Yeah, basically. And it's about 15 minutes of that, and then the last 15 is the match.
I wonder if there's any more backstage footage of Uncensored 95. I know of somebody who would very much like to try and track it down, if she hasn't already.
You might be able to see when Dustin and, what's his name? Is it Mike Graham? Get fired?
I noticed you made that comment just as Daddy Arn appeared on screen.
Yeah. She's controlling us. Oh, back to that. He's a smug one, and he's a Zbyszko. He just smug.
I'm glad you said Zbyszko, because I was going to have to say which one you're talking about. Though.
Well, we already know that about Bischoff. I feel Zbyszko gets a free pass. Maybe because nobody gives a toss about him, which would be understandable too.
I mean, wouldn't you be smug if you retired Bruno Sammartino?
Here we go. Bruno's yard. Yes, I'm doing it again. If he can, so can I. Human game of chess.
Do you think people were really wanting him to turn around on Nitro?
New World Order. Sorry, say again, Ben.
You know when he turns around to the crowd, does the the bow and all that.
Oh, what they were chanting for him.
Do you think people wanted to see that or what?
Hyped in.
Right. Well, I have very definite opinions of this match, which I will go into. Well, not this match, but these 4, which I will go into detail in a bit.
That's a team. And this is Flair's comeback match, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Flair, the best thing going today.
And at this point, he still was.
Yeah. Not much to argue with there.
And in his classic leather jacket.
It does make sense seeing the Flair boy back in WCW, doesn't it?
Wearing his 92 gear though, with that robe.
This thing could actually be called the Nature Boy again. He wasn't officially the Nature Boy Ric Flair in WWF, even though he still called himself it all the time.
Oh, here they are. Here they are. Got this warm, fuzzy feeling in my stomach, boys. Here they are.
Talk about alchemy. These two were just thrown together for the sake of it, and they made the most of it, and a lot more besides.
Note my wording on when I say this statement, Rory and Calum. Note the wording. My favourite tag team of all time. I'm not saying they're the best.
Even if you had emphasised best or gone for that, I wouldn't have put up too much of a fight.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, easily my favourite tag team of all time. Easily. And probably 93, when I was aware of, with thanks, as I said, thanks to Worldwide. Probably like the first heel team I liked, heel group.
Well, of course, they were broken up just as they were starting to get really over, because WCW, as we say.
Yeah, Austin didn't want them to team up at the start, but then he didn't want them to break up when they did.
Yep.
Yeah, so I remember reading Power Slam magazine. There's one for you both. They were talking about how the Hollywood boys get completely shafted after this because apparently the ratings for this weren't too good, and they get the blame on them because obviously,
of course they did.
They're not going to blame Ric Flair. Unfortunately, what the WCW failed to realise was, given that the Last Dance is just on, this was up against Game 4 of the 1993 NBA Finals with Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls.
Christ.
So
you just know when I brought it up half an hour ago when I said what sporting event was taking place, everybody was shouting at their listening device, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And you just know they were thinking, yep, won't be anything else, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Sorry. Give yourself a point.
For those keeping score, Chicago beat the Phoenix Suns 111 to 105.
And my very limited basketball knowledge, I mean, Calum's probably got the information there. That would be the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley playing. Am I right?
It was. Charles Barkley had 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists in Game 4.
That's very good, Rory. That's very good.
Okay. Yeah, I remember those stats popping up at the end of each match on NBA Jam. So yeah, lots of high numbers. That must be good.
You can see why Americans really don't get into the round ball game, because like how can they watch a 0-0 when they're used to the NBA finals being 192, 111, 108, 129, 121, and 3 overtimes, 111, 105, and 108, 98, and 99, 98.
Well, that's always the argument with cricket, isn't it? How can you watch this for 5 days with a draw?
I don't know how you can watch it for 5 days with a draw. I went to the 2020 finals and it was cracking, but you know you're going to get a winner there. Going to a test match for 5 days and it's finishing on a draw. Well, that's a struggle.
To be fair, American sports, I don't agree with the whole we don't do relegation and promotion, but then I do agree with them with the don't do draw things. I quite like seeing a winner and a loser as well.
Well, apparently
you've got to have draws for league games.
Apparently they're talking about bringing in promotion and relegation for the MLS.
Are they?
Yeah, they're going to make it. Apparently they're looking at making an MLS 2. There'll be promotion and relegation between the two. Apparently, I'm sure I've seen that somewhere.
Look at Pillman, he's eating his up.
He's such a shite.
Can I make my point very quickly, and I'll see if you agree or disagree with me or not. These 4 men should have been the 4 horsemen in '93.
Oh. What are you telling me that instead of Paul Roma and Ole Anderson,
I am telling you, instead of Paul Roma and Ole Anderson, instead of anybody else, it should have been these 4.
Gonna be that guy. How do you tell the story then? Do you dispense with all the flair for the old stuff? I suppose you do, don't you?
Yeah. So Flair would have been. I know when he came in, he initially got cheered. So you could have had 3 or 4 months being a babyface, and then you could have done the actual reformation of the Horseman like June, July time.
I think even there though, you're turning. I don't think people wanted to boo Flair at this point. Then I know hindsight 2020, but then you're losing all the Starrcade '93 stuff. From a quality standpoint, I agree with you, but I'm not sure how you get there.
Okay, so to take Ben's point, instead of picking Benoit because he was barely there, he was doing a lot of stuff in Japan in '95. Do you have Austin when he comes back from his injury be the 4th horseman in 1995?
Then you really are changing history, aren't you?
Yeah.
If Austin's a horseman in '95, then the landscape is very different. I know he's not a guy, but he's fat.
You definitely could have done. I definitely think you could have done this in '93 because let's face it, the whole Flair thing wasn't meant to happen anyway, was it? It was only because of it was only because of scissors that Flair got the title shot anyway.
That's true. That's true.
So you could
in Blackburn.
Yes, the UK tour from hell before it got superseded in 2002.
The Moat House Hotel.
I've been to Blackburn. I'd probably want to stab somebody with a pair of scissors to get out of Blackburn.
My brother works there.
I feel bad for him.
That's the fella they wanted to see. That's it.
The only good thing about Blackburn and Tip North in general, the places I've been, is the Pound Bakery. It's like Greg's, but everyone's a quid.
So I'll say, just be careful what you're saying.
Was Flair just giving a proto-mandible claw to Austin? It looked like it. Well, the move itself existed like about the 50s, but you know what I mean.
So did I hear you guys say, is this Flair's first match back after he's
pretty sure
he's Chip North?
It is, yeah.
Pretty sure because he had a no compete clause.
Mm-hmm. Because he shows up at
He shows up at Super Bowl, and then he's on Saturday night immediately after.
So he could show up, he just couldn't wrestle. Is that what his thing was?
Yeah.
I know they talked about this on the Vault way back when. He was still working WWF house shows. I want to say into February '93, if not the very end of January, a European tour, I think. Yeah, he was working Brett right up until he left.
Well, we've already made up our opinions about Flair, Brett already, haven't we, Rory?
We have indeed. Senior Video Episode 2. If you want to hop back into the PTBN archives, should be easy enough to find, where we talk about the Flair-Brett title switch match on Smack and Whack'em. Really should have made my top 100 list, that one.
It really should. And mine. And because Arn's back with him about 2 weeks into that Saturday night run. So him and Arn get back together very quickly.
I think it's time for a bit of the old small joint manipulation.
So, Ric Flair's last televised match was the Royal Rumble in January.
Well,
he wrestles Mr. Perfect on the house shows. They then come over for a UK tour, and he wrestles Bret Hart most of the time. He did defeat the Big Boss Man in Bayreuth, Bayern, Deutschland. So sorry to all any German listeners. It went 29 minutes with Bret Hart in Hamburg. I imagine that was a banger. His last match for the WWF was in, here we go, Aschaffenburg in Germany. At the Unterfrankenhalle in Aschaffenburg, Bayern region, Deutschland.
Pronounce those umlauts.
He was defeated by The Undertaker.
Was that the good lady in the background laughing at your German pronunciation?
It absolutely was.
I hope so.
Sorry.
We were all laughing with you, Calum, really.
But so
because you got to say these words in a German accent. You can't say them any other way.
Okay, sorry. What date was that?
That was his last match at the Unterfrankenhalle in Aschaffenburg.
I just trying to make you say the name of it again.
Was the 11th of February.
Wow, it was that late.
Yeah.
Blimey.
But here's something here looking at cage match. Okay, in 2002, at the Paramarx Arena in Louisville, Kentucky, David Flair and Ric Flair defeated the Prototype and Sean O'Haire at OVW Spring Breakout 2002. Imagine being there.
Where to even begin with that one?
On the 9th of September 2006 at Six Flags Over Georgia in Austell, Georgia, Ric Flair defeated Montel Von Tavis Porter at Deep South Wrestling Park Slam.
So Flair was showing up in the development. Wow, I didn't know that.
He had two matches. He had one in OVW and one in Deep South.
Mind blown, as the kids say.
Every
day's a school day.
Meanwhile,
Even when they're all close. I just thought I'd drop that in. Especially, this is homeschooling right here.
It is homeschooling.
Some textbook tag team wrestling going on from the Blondes here, by the way.
They were a great team. They had the chemistry.
You can't teach that.
They can sell off those two. Oh, Pillman. What could have been, eh?
He's got to be one of the great sort of wrestling could have beens, hasn't he, Pillman?
I mean, there's still a fair bit there. Let's be fair. There's still a fair bit. Let's be fair. Give myself words to trip over. But could and should have been a whole lot more.
Let's be honest. It's still 3 years until you say 96 is probably the turning point, isn't it, with him?
If he was still with us, he's still only 58.
We got the Booker man and car crash. Yeah,
He'd only be 58 just now.
I think if he wanted to, he could still be doing something in the industry.
Oh, he'd be around AEW somewhere.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Pillman DVD set's got the documentary. JR says, doesn't he? That's the whole reason he was doing commentary was, so he had something to do and I could keep an eye on him.
Oh, God, DDT.
Number 3 DDT right there.
The third best DDT in the business.
Yeah. I love that. Austin went for that jumping squash him on the ropes thing. He bounced right off it, did the camera motif and walked right into the DDT. Great timing on that spot there.
The transition to the DDT that I think is the best is when he's hit something off the top rope. What a guy!
He's a baby face, of course he did.
Of course he does. Is when he whips him off. Is when Aaron whips the guy off the ropes. He comes down and he's cocking his fist as if he's going to punch him. The guy ducks and then bang DDT.
Yes.
I do like when he does that one.
Straight over the top rope there, Austin. No disqualification. Good. Here's what I missed for 10 punches in the corner. Maybe they do it in NWA Power, but which I haven't really watched, but I do miss it. Austin takes a header. Flair tight off the cover.
That's the first fall.
Yeah, I don't think we've mentioned this one's 2 out of 3 falls, have we?
No.
I'm sure everybody knows.
We can't let that important detail out.
2 out of 3 falls here. Yeah, that was a very spry first fall.
Although
it did feel like the end of the match, though, didn't it? With Flair getting a hot tag and with the adrenaline still pumping, securing the 3 count. That felt like an end of a match to me, but hey.
On the closed caption, it was somebody was announcing that they'd won the match and they were the new heavyweight champion of the world. So it sounds like
was that our boy Buffer screwing up? Yeah.
Aye.
In fact, yes, I remember that now. Yes, he did. I really do need to watch this with the sound up.
Here's me getting on at Charlotte for all she's doing is a chop, but I'm just sitting here mesmerised by Ric Flair, and all he ever does is a chop because he's got a broken back.
Yeah, but chops with meaning.
It's all about the context in pro wrestling.
There you go.
Flair does the best chop. Everyone else is just a mere imitation.
It isn't about how, it's about when and why.
By the way, can I just have a business announcement while we're here? This Wheel of Fortune idea has been excellent, by the way, Calum. We might need to bring this back.
Wheel of Fortune. No, that doesn't work. But yes, we definitely should. If we're back on...
Sorry. I was doing the Wheel of Fortune.
If we're back on Body Press Your Luck again. And when Calum wins again. He can pick again.
Well, I think the good ladies and gentlemen, Rory, need to hear the Body Press Your Luck story.
Yeah. For those of you who've listened to Senior Video episode 3, if not, please do check it out. Me and Calum have an excellent discussion about Rampage 92. There are 2 occasions where I just plain forgot the name of Body Press Your Luck. Once I just call it that quiz thing. 2, I don't think I call it anything. Definitely my mind intentionally playing tricks there by making sure I don't mention it because my performance was so feeble.
Well, that wasn't the story I was referring to, but that's an excellent
one. You mean the one where I did it with 2 seconds? I was referring more to your Skype alarm call. Oh, the reason for my terrible performance.
Yes.
Because we went up at 3:30 a.m. here UK time, and I told myself, I even told you the night before, Mr. Locke, that I was going to get myself a good bit of sleep. I was going to set my alarm clock, and I'd be up a good 30-45 minutes before bell time. And of course, I was woken up by the Skype call that we were going live, wasn't I?
I was party to these messages. So the last thing I saw before I went to bed was my fellow chaps going, "Yep, just heading to bed, going for a power nap. I've got my alarm set." Only to wake up the next morning to see the message from through the night where Rory almost never made it.
Well,
I'm still not convinced that. I still reckon that was a nightmare. My performance would decree that it was a nightmare.
Well, see for the first quickfire round.
Went superplex by Austin. Yeah.
You could. Like, I think you were still half asleep because you were just going. I could hear you think.
Just wasn't in tune.
Well, I'm not gonna disparage the lads at all who do it because I think like Jordan and JT do an excellent job, but like you could tell with my performance, I was bothered for the first 3 rounds, and then that last round when I knew there was no way I could even get close to Ryan, I was like, I just didn't give a shit. I think I even said it on the thing. I'll be happy if I get to 30 points here. I didn't even get anywhere near that in the end.
Well, I just put it that it was myself and Aaron that were doing it. Like I just finished second because like you're not going to win until Ryan abdicates. He's going to be on that throne for however bloody long he wants.
That guy is a freak in the nicest possible way.
I just don't know where he keeps it. Quite frankly.
Well, the thing was, because I'd only been up about 10-15 minutes when when you listen to it, you're going to be asked questions about things that have happened in that month. So I'd kind of decided that I knew there was going to be stuff about, April pay-per-views and Backlash and Spring Stampede. So I'd actually done a bit of research and trying to remember stuff. And then as soon as JT said, name anybody who's appeared in
Spring Stampede
98, my mind went blank. Blank.
I just wasn't there for that one.
I took your guys' advice and decided to study some May-based ones. So I studied Judgment Day. I studied Slamboree. I studied Money in the Bank winners. And what got announced right before we went live? In Your House. Like, oh no. What I didn't think about was the anniversary of In Your House. It was all In Your House questions. Right.
And I got most of your first round ones right. And I was having to guess Spring Stampede, people. For goodness sake, Calum. Name members of the NWO you had. Oh yeah, cheers. That was a tough one.
Sorry, guys. I sorry about that, listeners. I was just marking out for Double A Spine Buster. I do apologise.
So. No apology necessary.
Yeah. So I thought that. So what was it? The Heart Foundation, NWO, and Aces and Eights. And I thought the Heart Foundation was a lot harder than the other two. I just blanked completely on the Heart Foundation.
Yeah, because we said in our chats, didn't we, Rory? When Calum said, there's points for members of groups, and we were trying to sort of do any metric where we could win, and there was just no way of like even by dividing points by 3 that I could even win. So it was like, yeah, Calum's got it. Calum's smarter than us. He's done well.
We would not be watching this show if it was not for Calum kicking our ass.
We would not be watching this show. and this has been tremendous.
Yes, it has. Pillman giving Anderson a kicking, but Arn's not having any of that.
I mean, you've got to think. So this is free TV.
Yeah.
You've had, and this crowd has had more than its money's worth. So you've had that Windham Scorpio match. You've got this. You've got the 6-man tag, and that's those 3 matches in a 2-hour show.
Can I just point out the psychology there?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't see this these days. There I am being cornet again, old man Rory. Pillman was working on Anderson's knee, working on it for a good 30 seconds. He Irish whipped him across the ring. Because Arn was injured, he went down. So Pillman rightly went for the cover, and he hooked the injured leg. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
I'm pretty confident, and I thought this beforehand, and this match has confirmed it. This is going to be probably top 30.
I don't think I've got that one. I'm pretty sure this one's going to make the list. Don't think I'll have it that high though, but we'll see. I don't have a template yet.
30 might be too high actually. Top 50, I'll say top 50.
It's very good. It's very good. I feel like the Blondes are working as if they've got something to prove in this match, as in their minds they very probably did.
Definitely.
And I think they succeeded here, regardless of where the blame eventually went for the buy rate.
I mean, look at that. Just look at that.
Just holding his head to get the leverage. Because you would, wouldn't you? Pushing down through Pillman's brain.
Do either of you listen to Aaron's podcast?
No,
I haven't. I haven't heard it yet. But I've heard enough people say how good it is.
See, he's one of these guys that he's got the same. I'm not going to compare him to Jim Cornette, but he's got the same philosophy on it. But he treats it as he doesn't.
Scurry by on. Pike by Bill.
How can I best explain this? He treats everything as he's under no illusions. He doesn't try to fool everybody that it's not what it is. Like wrestling is what it is, and he'll happily admit that. But he treats it like a sport.
Yeah. He talks in kayfabe, but he doesn't take it totally seriously.
He talks in. It sounds as if he's talking in kayfabe, but it's actually just because the way he conducts himself is he's a sportsman, but he knows he's quite happy to talk about. He knows the deal, and he knows that we know the deal.
Did any of you see the promo on AEW? With him and Jake, the contract signing with Tony, and Tony was moderating it. It's just
I've heard that's excellent.
Masters of the craft. It's unbelievable. Like even in 2020.
But there's two guys that they're the classic. You can't tell me that these guys couldn't do a job in any company because they're just
eating their boots.
They're just so good at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Look at that on there, just pointing to Flair, saying, I want to tag you, but I'm too injured to do it, but I'm going to try. Just little things like that.
In Jake's case, there was just too much shit going on, wasn't there? He couldn't.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that it's 2020 and Jake Roberts is in a good enough place that he can be on television every week in a prominent role. I mean, fair play to him.
God bless DDP.
I know. For him and Scott Hall, Jesus man, guy's a miracle worker.
Look at Austin there, just waving it off.
Well, now we're going to go to school. Oh, here he comes. Here's my boy. Go on, Bazza. Yeah, see that doesn't need to be the second fall. Why not do it the other way around?
Do the DQ first.
And have the DQ be first. And have Windham really do a number on Flair to the point where you're thinking he might not be able to continue. Then you hit the brake and you come back, and then Paul Roma comes to the rescue. No, funnily enough, I dropped that bit completely.
or why not? God forbid, let the champions get a fall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
mate.
it didn't have to
Yeah.
finish 2-0, did it?
Oh no,
It's going
wait.
to be 2 out of 3 falls then.
2 out of 3 falls just so Flair can beat them twice.
Yeah, we didn't need it this. No, I'd have done a 2-1. You had the time in the match to make it 2-1 realistically. Because I want to say this one's a good 25.
You could have it that the Blondes win the first one, and then they just start getting all cocky, and then you get the same finish to the first fall in the second where Flair gets one back, and then you could have that finish being third, but don't do it on a 2-0.
Am I right? Is this the match where Jesse's all gleeful on commentary because Tony thinks like they've won the tag title? He's like, nope, because it's DQ. Nope.
I think so because.
Or am I thinking of a different match?
You're going, but well, it might be this one, but you're definitely thinking of the Bulldogs back in 87, 86, 87, 86. It's against the Dream Team just before WrestleMania 2.
But was it not second fall out of 3? Did that not go 3 falls, and then it was only after that the second fall was a DQ?
Sorry,
am I making that up?
Otis seems to be behind Tony and Barry. I'm John that bit.
My God. Oh yeah.
I think we just make up the rules as they go along because there's this thing in pro wrestling where you could just tell any story you want. But yeah, that was definitely Otis, wasn't it?
Yeah. That Otis and Mandy high time sketch is tremendous. I love that. At the swimming pool, it's just absolute brilliance. Not just because Mandy Rose is in a bikini.
Is that Grider swimming pool, no less?
I think we're going off the air.
It was.
Yeah, it was Zack Ryder. They sacked him and then asked Chelsea Green if they could use her pool.
Looks like we're going to end with a pull apart.
And Doug Dillinger there.
Final shot of Windham leading up to our pay-per-view. That is a tremendous Clash of the Champions. I think that one is, if you're ever ranking the clashes, I think that one is way up there.
Oh, absolutely. So, gents, match of the night.
Yeah, I'll go Windham Scorpio.
That's the one I was going to choose as well.
I'm going to go with the tag match, but I don't mind being outvoted.
An MVP.
MVP I will give to Windham.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Bazza. Had that great match and was very strong in the pull-apart brawl at the end.
I was going to go Scorpio, but I'll happily cede to the two of you and just go Barry. Oh, that was wonderful, and our first ever awards giving. So I think it was a show fitting of that monumental occasion.
Yeah, so you catch us on the hop with the choice, and then you drop awards on us, Calum. You beat us, okay? What more do you want?
And to be fair, it's one of these shows as well where, apart from, I can't even think of any. Maybe Zinc, if I'm being really picky, you can't even give like an LVP or even the bad awards.
No,
on that.
Who was the worst? The worst person on the show was Bagwell, and that you can't blame him for not being able to keep up with Steve Regal. So that's just a victim of circumstance.
Butler with his cue cards and Zabisco looking extra smug. There you go.
Yeah, just give it to Zabisco. There we go.
Paul Roma. Let's give it to Paul Roma. Paul Roma.
He was only there for 2 minutes. Yeah, Paul Roma such to give it to him. Zabisco and Roma tied. I'm more than fine with that. Great pick, Calum. Thank you for sharing that one with us.
Well
done.
To
see that show again.
Well done. And a great victory. I'm going to be magnanimous. Great victory.
Yeah, great victory.
I'm just glad that we got to watch that show out of it. And I thought about going Battle Bowl or something rubbish, but that's not going to do any of us any good. We'll all be hacked off by the end of it, and you won't even get any research done. So can't go wrong with a clash. That was superb. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. So lots going on with everyone. Ben, you've got many a podcast coming up, I believe.
No, I have. I'm a busy boy for once. So obviously we've got our fine podcast here. You can also, as was mentioned here, episode 1 of the chicken salad, which seems to have had quite positive feedback so far. So thank you very much for that. Episode 2 speaking of the 25th anniversary, will be for the 25th anniversary of King of the Ring 95. I can announce that.
Oh, lordy.
I'm also going to be on, it's a rotating four-man crew of Logan's podcast, Impact Podcast. I am going to be on the next episode of that, so I'll be watching the first episode of Impact and the weekly pay-per-view number 98, which I'm looking forward to. I need to buy Impact Plus. I cannot believe I'm doing that, but that's my dedication to this website. So there's the wrestling things. Also got my podcast on the Pop feed. I went very high-paced there. So me and the wonderful Miss Miranda Berthold, the other half of Geek and Sassy who doesn't do wrestling, we are doing a podcast called Telly and TV. Telly and TV. Sorry, I'll start again. Telly and Tea. So the subject matter is I get to play the British stereotype of somebody who likes a good cup of tea, some biscuits with them, and watching a lot of TV. We are going to be breaking down TV shows season by season, beginning with 24.
Ooh.
So, yes. So we're basically going to be doing each season on an episode. So a particular TV show is going to be a season. So we're going to do, I think there's 9 seasons of 24. So we're going to do 9 episodes of our show. That's going to be a season, and then we'll move on to the next show.
9 seasons of 24, so that's about a week and a half in Kiefer Sutherland's time.
Yeah. Yeah. Jack Bauer is not going to be around for that long, no.
And also for chat for a preview of 24 chat, episode 7 of the special relations where Sean goes into 24.
Yes. So we on Monday night / Tuesday morning we recorded like a pilot episode. So that'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks. So it's basically just a preview, just saying hi, how are you? This is what we're doing, sort of thing. And then we'll begin properly in July.
Good stuff. And minds will be blown, as if from what I've been hearing is true. From what you've been saying, minds are about to be blown.
Well, we'll be talking like cups of tea etiquette, biscuit etiquette, tea etiquette. We'll be going into all that, the true hot button topics of the day.
Of course. And why not to put the milk in first?
You're not one of them weird people, are you?
No, but I accidentally, I'll hold my hands up here, gents. On more than one occasion, I have accidentally put the water in first. I haven't been paying
before the tea bag.
I haven't been paying attention.
Dear.
On more than one occasion, I haven't been paying attention. I put water into an empty cup, and I've had to put the coffee and a coffee and a tea bag, separate occasions, a coffee and a tea bag in after the water's gone in.
I have been known to not boil the water and put it into the cup.
I've done that before. That's awful.
Instinctively think I'll put the kettle on.
I think we've all been there.
Especially when it's a coffee.
Now I feel better.
Good stuff, then. Good stuff.
So that's me. Yes, busy boy.
Extremely busy. So you're keeping the country going as a key worker, and you're keeping busy out with as well. Jesus, man.
Yeah,
Not enough hours in the day for you.
I think 4 podcasts are my limit. I think that'll do.
Save some for the rest of us.
Yeah, this is our mothership, and I'm sort of guest. The others are little side projects. I'm like Phil Collins, got my little side projects going.
As long as we have Genesis.
We better be.
Good stuff. Rory, what have you got going on?
Indeed. Senior video. We have 3 episodes of that available for you now on the Wrestling Network here on Place to Be Nation. 2 shows with you, Calum, and 1 with Ben. Episode 1, we looked at UK Rampage 93. Number 2 was Smack and Whack'em. And number 3, which went up just a few days ago, Rampage 92. Not UK Rampage 92. I'm sure we'll get there at some point. New episodes of Senior Video dropping on the network every single month, with hopefully a rotating array of guests but as I'm sure you could well imagine, Messrs McDougall and Locke will never be too far away. And of course, elsewhere, you can hear me on the Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. As mentioned earlier, the WWF June 2000 show will be with you very soon, where I'll be looking at King of the Ring. Hopefully, I'll be a bit more descriptive on it than I was 2.5 hours ago, but don't blame me if I'm not, because it was a very lackluster show. There's another word for you anyway. And you should listen to all the Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcasts, even, or maybe even especially the ones I am not on. Just Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcast, monthly shows, WCW, ECW, and WWF in timeline mode. We've been going now for almost 7 years, and we're not planning on stopping yet.
Excellent stuff. So, and I must say, not wanting to blow smoke anywhere, but I have listened to the recent senior video and the first episode of the chicken salad. Both were fantastic. I thought they were a breeze to listen to. So you're both fantastic.
Magnanimous in victory, Mr. McDougall.
No, they were excellent stuff, and I implore anyone who hasn't listened to them to go back and do it. And also, in the last episode, it doesn't come across that I demanded to be back on after the debacle that was UK Rampage 93. That's the only reason why I've been on twice in quick succession, because I demanded to come back on and get my choice. But no, they're absolutely brilliant. So please go and listen to them. Once you've if you're still listening to us, once you've done that, go and listen to those podcasts. Absolutely fantastic. So for myself, other than my wonderful performance on Body Pressure Luck last month, I will be obviously I've just been on senior video as we've talked about. As you listen to this, hopefully you've already heard the NWA Saturday special, which dropped this morning. As you're listening to this, I am making a small guest appearance on that with Scott and Dr. G. So that's going to be a fun listen. So hopefully you've heard that as well. And there is some exciting stuff on the horizon. I'm just polishing off and testing out. Still under the Place to Be Nation banner, not necessarily on podcast form. I'll leave that with everybody to make a guess on that. And I will be getting people involved. I believe the boys here know of something that could be on the horizon as well once I get stuff ironed out. So be on the lookout for that as well. But other than that, gents, I think that's a good time for us to finish. So for myself and my chaps to the south, thanks very much for listening. If you still are, please stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.